Michael Fabber, the executive director of Joseph Patrick Fabber Memorial Foundation, and it has a mission to prevent suicide, anti-drugs, and anti-bullying. He is a high-performance success coach, author, entrepreneur, speaker, and owner of several businesses. The coach, Mike Fabber, is the founder of Unleash You. Michael Fabber, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, brother. I'm going to bring you around just to introduce me. It made me feel good.
All right. Now, let's get to know you a bit. A lot of my listeners are entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and you've got a lot to offer them. Can you tell us some of the different hats that you wear?
So right now, it's interesting because COVID, if we want to admit it or not, COVID's had an effect on things and will. I don't think we've seen the whole ripple effect yet of what this is going to do to our economy and a global economy. And that's not a scare. That's let's be prepared, right? Because people can win in winter. People can thrive through the winter. So it's being prepared that things might change and how we can adapt to be able to be more productive and actually not just survive the time. Like in 2008, I was focused on surviving. Does that know better? Because 2008, if people were in business in 2008, 07, 08, 09 was interesting times.
Right.
Because it was the rise and the fall and then the figure it out. And so now it's like, all right, we rode, 10 plus year ride going up. And now we have the risk. At some point we knew it was going to happen anyway,
right.
That things were going to turn. So now we got a little prepared. Like we got a warning shot saying, hey, this might be it. It might be coming. Be prepared for it. So in a way you can look at it as we were lucky. We got a warning now. So how can we figure out our way through this and through what the typical day and typical business looks like? So hats that I wear, Unleash You Now, that's my baby. That's my love project. It's because I love to impact people. I love to hopefully show people that there's greatness within us all. Like, I'm not here to tell anybody what to believe. I call it God. You can call it cosmic winds, the universe, trees, dirt. Like I don't care what you believe in. Even if you believe in nothing, you believe in something, right? So, but that thing, whatever you call that, isn't sitting there going, your life's going to be great. Oh, sorry, buddy, your life's going to be bad, right? It's sitting there saying, we all have the opportunity on this earth to make it what it is, right? And if we all understand that, then we all have greatness within us. So let's unleash that thing, paint our masterpiece, and let the world see it, because that's the gift we give to the world. I think all too often we're confused and we say we have this gift, but gifts are meant to be given.
Right.
So we have this gift to give. So Unleash You Now, that's my baby. We do a bunch of different things to that. We have courses, programs, masterminds, memberships, conferences, retreats, things of that nature. Then I still have a food truck and catering business. I still have a landscape business and property management company. I have a counseling agency, a boxing clinic, the nonprofit that you heard of, a strategist business and consulting business, a marketing business. So a couple little things. I don't like free time. Free time, I got in trouble.
You're a little busy, yeah.
I like it that way.
Now, what type of things go on in the mastermind, and what are the benefits to a mastermind group?
Oh man, great question today. Because literally, I was talking about this. I had a meeting at 8 a.m. and we were talking about this exact thing because we have a mastermind retreat coming up. And the guy was like, "I don't know anything about that. Tell me what it's like." And I said a story from when I was younger. It was like a decade plus ago now. And I know I look young because I take care of my skin. No, I'm kidding. But someone was selling me on a mastermind. This is before I knew really what masterminds were. And the only thing I knew of a mastermind was like a network. Almost now it's like network marketing, right? Like it's like your chambers, or your better business, your BNIs, or things of that nature, where you just meet together and then talk and try to strategize something. Everybody try to win off everybody, which isn't exactly my cup of tea. I don't love it. Because it's almost like all a pitch fest now, rather than a value add, which I'm more of the value add type of mindset. So this guy tells me about this mastermind. It sounds great. You have expert people in expert interviews in fields or authorities. I like to say authorities because I don't know what makes an expert or not, but an authority is understanding and knowledge, and how to apply that, tools and tactics. So you have 12 of those. You have one a month. right? And at this point, this is years and years ago, so it wasn't like now. It was like you had 2 meetups a year. You were on an email list, right? At that time, email lists were cool. Now marketers have ruined that, and email lists suck. We get a million emails from people that we don't want to get emails from every day.
Right.
So marketers ruin everything. But so this guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds great. And he goes, and all it will cost you is 10 grand. And I'm like, right now, this time in my life, I'm like, yeah, buddy. Right. Like, and I say at this time in my life in business, I had roller coaster businesses, right? Like I would kill it this month and then crash and kill it and crash. And it was like, I had to save the kill it for the crash.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I laugh when people talk about profits, because I'm like, yeah, profits are cool, but that's not to tell you the story, right? Like, what are your margins? What are your cash flow? Right? Because you can have great profit and no cash flow, and you have a tough business because you take the wrong hit, it's over.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, no, buddy, I can't afford that. And the way he framed this back to me, literally, first it made me mad because I had a lot of ego at that time in my life. Right. So my ego would be like, what? And then later made me cry because he said, oh, I understand that. I hear that a lot. A lot of people can't afford it. He's like, but let me ask you this. Can you afford your relationships looking like they are now, 10 years from now? Can you afford your bank account looking like it does now, 10 years from now? Can you afford your health looking like it does now, 10 years from now? Right? Like, and I was just like, damn, at that point I was in a horrible relationship. So I was like, shit, you really got me good, right? Like you hit me with the first one early. And then, like I said, at that point I was in roller coaster businesses. So if I took the wrong hit, my bank account would go, right? So I was like, I don't want this to be my bank account 10 years from now. I don't want it to be where any little hit could end it for me. Right. So I was like, nah, man, thank you though. That's cool. Right. Like, you don't know my life. All right. I went home and I cried. And the next day I called the guy back and I was like, hey, I'll do it. All right. How do you sign up? Now I'm thinking like you can put a little bit down and you pay a little bit a month. Right. Like everything's cool. And he's like, oh, you reserve your spot by giving me $10,000. I'm like, geez. Right. Like, all right. And he goes, and you have 72 hours. I'm like, what? And so I've been a lifelong student, and I mean that in many ways, but literally I went to college for like 20 years. I don't have a lot of degrees. I just went there a lot of time. Right. I really enjoyed the idea of college. And I saw this thing that it was college cards. They were college credit cards, which they killed you on the rate, right? Like 30%, this thing, knocked you over the head. But they would let college people have money, right? Which when I was young and broke, that would have been huge, right? But I didn't know these existed when I was young and broke. So I was like, I'm always in school. I always have a thing. So I'm always considered a student, so I can apply for these. So I applied for like 15 of them, and they give you 24-hour acceptance, right? So you were accepted in 24 hours. And I applied for, I had to be over 20. I was like, all I need is 5. And I got it. And I got 4. So I'm like, all right, I have exactly, each one was for 2,500. I have exactly 10. And I called him back. I'm like, I got it. I just got to put it on 4 cards. He was like, all right. Well, to find out, you couldn't put 2,500 on the card. You could put $24.99. So I was $4 short. So the guy said, when you come, give me $5. And I was like, well, I mean, I only owe you 4, but I'll give you 5, I guess. But I signed up for this mastermind, and I'll still say to this day, that changed the game for me. And so what a mastermind does, and what it did for me, was it gave me the opportunity to connect with people outside of my direct circle or my area, my community circle, that were thinking higher, right? Taking action on things that were higher than I thought, right? Their belief system, their mindset, how they helped one another, right? Like I always say a story, our mastermind, I love our mastermind. Last year, we have a conference every year. And right before it, the text message servicing company we used went under, just disappeared. And it was like 72 hours, maybe 48 hours before our conference. And at our conference, we do a lot with text messaging servicing because we don't really want to sell from stage. That's not our thing. I want people to get value from the stage. I really respect the stage and hold it as a share it like it's a precious spot. And at our events, you're not, if you get sold to from stage, it's because I didn't know it was going to happen, and you'll know I'm upset about it. Right. So our text message service is how people can, the next year, we offer the cheapest ticket at the event. Right. So if you're at the event, next year's ticket is much less than this year's ticket that you got. All right. So, and we do all that and all our other services through text message service. So not having it, it would have been a problem figuring out how to make it work. So I reached out to people in our mastermind. I said, anybody know anybody in the SMS business? We need one quick. All right. And within an hour, I was on the phone with one, and within 2 hours, we had one set up ready for the gig. So but that's what a mastermind group does, because everybody has different connections, different circles, different expertise. So no longer you have the community and the connection. Then now, like, we have 4 trips a year where we all meet up. Some are international, some are national. We bring in authority speakers in different fields. We normally focus on 5: health, wealth, relationships, mindset, and purpose. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be business and professional growth. You're going to get both at every event you come to for us. So you have the events, you have the community, you have the connection, you have the resources, you have the authority interviews. We have a Zoom call a month where we talk about goals and wins and troubles and trials. So mastermind really, to me, is like the community of like-minded people that have very deep connections and can move you forward. And it moved me from having that bank account that struggled to having a bank account where we're good. Whatever happens, we're okay today, right? Like having relationships I didn't like much and we're struggling with, to relationships I love now. And some of them are the same ones. It just showed me how to do it, right? Like how to be in a relationship properly, right? Like I wasn't doing my part in some of them, right? It wasn't always the other person. So what it did was just, it brought me to the level in which I really wanted to be at. So for that, I'll always be thankful for masterminds. I'll always be part of one, and we'll always have one.
Now, I know with you do a lot of great marketing on Facebook, and I love your Facebook page. That's where I learned about you, and I just really respect how quick you are to respond to people. No matter what they ask, you're right back with a positive statement, and that's really rare, it seems, because a lot of times you get the like 1.5 correspondence. Like you send them something, they send something back exciting, and then like you send one more thing, and that's it. So how, with all my solopreneurs and entrepreneurs on the podcast, what should they know to make their Facebook page really crackle, really work?
Fall in love with people, right? Fall in love with your clients, fall in love with your potential clients, right? Like fall in love with the people you can serve. So my thing, one of the biggest things that changed my way I interact with people was I stopped loving the product we had. I started loving the person we have.
That's
right?
Great.
And that's why I'll respond all day. I get over 100 messages easy a day. I respond to every one of them unless one gets lost, and I apologize for that. I actually have to make a message for that because one got caught in the weeds, and the person thought it was a personal thing. I want to make sure everybody knows if it's a personal thing, we will understand that, and we'll know it's a personal thing. We'll talk about it.
And you pretty much use your personal Facebook page, right? You seem to be more involved with that than the business page.
100%. And what I found out is the business page, that was me getting my agenda across, right? It wasn't connection. It wasn't deepening relationships. It wasn't getting to add the value at the level I wanted to add it to, right? Because the marketing we do is referred to as VAM or VBM. If value add marketing or a value build marketing. It's like, so all you do is you build value, right? Or you add value. And that's for people to be able to get. So then by the time you do business with us per se, my goal is we've already changed your life by the value we added. Right. And then you saw that we genuinely care about you and your life, because that's how we get results in business is everything. Right.
So there really is no difference between your personal life and your business life in that sense.
100%.
Right. Because I would think, like you have your personal Facebook page, they go, here's the kids, or they're cute here, and I'm drinking a beer, at this orchard, having a great time. And then with the business is the business side. But you don't do it that way.
Nope. Because you get me, and me, I'm not all business. Like me, I'm with my friends watching the first week of football, right? Like I'm with my daughter being a pain in the butt to her, because that's what I do. All right. She's 16, she deserves it. All right. But it's my thing is, I don't want you just to be, I'm not going to treat you like you're our product. I don't want you to think of us as a product. And part of the thinking, one, is because I love deeper connections and relationships. I believe that's what ends self-injurious behavior and negative thoughts and all the stuff that comes with that. But also for the idea that when you connect at that level, right, you don't create a satisfied customer, right? Like you create family, like you create supporters. Right? Like people say fans. I'm not really a big term. I don't like that term. So like you create people that want to be part of what you're doing.
So soon, because you're at 4,900 something friends on your personal Facebook. So now when you hit 5,000, that's going to be a cap. What will you do after?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I have deactivated accounts on my friends list that I can go through and take off. I think right now I have 300 of those. So at some point when I'm not lazy, I'll go through and take the 300 off. And that'll open up spots as well. Plus, as it goes on too, I'm a big protector of peace. I protect my peace. I want to protect your peace. So there'll be people on the feed that kind of weed themselves out.
Yeah.
And I'll weed myself out of their page too. So it's not about agreeing with everything. I always say that, like, we don't need to agree with everything. But there is like some sort of like moral standard that will hold. And that'll be our place. Like, we all understand this moral standard we have that we set to be associated with one another and connected and have a relationship. And if we're not in that standard together, if I don't match it, or if you don't match it, clearly we've shown that we shouldn't be connected at this level.
So you still have your business Facebook page, but you post to it much less, right?
Much less. Yep. Normally that's just motivational quotes, inspirational ideas, tools and tactics you can use, really just direct hitting. With my own page, it's much more relationship building and interaction.
Are you running ads on your personal Facebook page? Okay.
I don't run any ads at the moment.
How have you amassed like 4,900 people to be on your Facebook page? Is that just from constantly doing what you're doing, and then more people? Because that's where I want to get, is where I can get people to say, hey, I want to join up with this All the Hats We Wear Facebook page. But it just seems like what you're saying, like it's kind of like an Instagram, quotes and stuff like that.
Right. So what I did, it was funny. 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I set on this challenge, and this is kind of how this happened, to be honest with you. It was that I wanted to show everybody that you didn't have to invest in all the things people are telling you have to invest in to make business work, right? You need this fancy website, you need funnels, you need ads, right? You need an email list, right? Like, you need all these things, and all these things take time and money.
Yeah.
Right. And my thing was, that takes time away from your client, which is the most important part of your business, right? Because getting the result for them equals more business. Still the best part of marketing, word of mouth, right? Even more so now, because everybody has the internet, and they can literally praise you in a second or kill you in a second, right? And we've seen it done. So I want to say, if you just do this value-based marketing, right? If you just do this part. So I went into communities, into groups on Facebook of people that I knew we served, right? Because now there's Facebook groups for everybody. You can find your people. So I went to the groups where I can find my people, and I started answering their questions. I started adding value to their posts, right? I started, even if they made a post, I was like, hey, great post. Like, I love the insight into this area, right? Like, I might not agree with the whole thing, but I love the insight into this area. And what that did was start building relationships. And the more people saw me doing that, the more they started friend requesting me or asking if it was okay if we'd be friends. Right? So now I have our people on my page. And then I could do the different posts that you've seen that have gotten interaction. And I'll say this too. Are you building your platform for you to shine? Or are you building your platform for others to have the opportunity to shine?
Right.
Right? And because when I was coming up, not a lot of people wanted to give me shine. Like, not a lot of people wanted to give me their platform. All right. I've been in the speaking business 10 years. This year was supposed to be my best year, and I got 8 conferences. All right. So it took me 10 years to get 8 conferences to let me speak on their stage. All right. So I had more years in than conference stages in a year, just so we know. So not a lot of people wanted to let me shine, but a couple did. And I'm forever thankful that they gave me the opportunity to do what I love and care about to the highest degree on the stage that they built, right? The house they created.
Right.
And so when I was coming up and was fighting that fight over and over and over again of like letting my voice be heard on other people's platforms and stages, and being rejected over and over and over again. I mean, over 100 times a year we get rejected. Right? I was like, I will never be this platform that is just for me to shine. I'll always build a platform for others to be able to shine from.
And I think you show that by your daily posting. Like, you'll do like a just a question what is that? You change the background and then just have a question or something you want to talk about, and then people just start joining the conversation. And how often do you do that a day? How many posts do you do, would you say?
Oh, it fluctuates, probably between 3 and 5 posts a day on
Yep.
Facebook. I'll
And
do
also,
1 or 2 everywhere else, but Facebook, I'll do 3 or 5.
when you join these other groups on Facebook that your tribe likes to hang out at,
Mhm.
and it seems like it's a skill also not to be, you don't want to be pitchy there. You don't want to go on a time management group and start saying, hey, check out my book. You're making creating a relationship. You're being helpful. You're being part of the conversation.
Right. The couple things. One, always try to add value first and foremost. Even no one wants to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy.
Right.
Right? Like everybody buys stuff. No one wants to be sold to. So one, I say dial back. You have to experience this at some point when someone friend requests you and you accept it, and 2 seconds later they're in your inbox telling you something you can buy from them.
Yeah.
And you're just like, come on, man. Like, I
Right.
don't even know where you live yet, right? Like, it's like
Yeah.
we didn't build any connection. Like the chance of me buying from you it went from like 0.1 to 0.1.
And
Right?
that's
Like,
LinkedIn too. LinkedIn and
oh,
Instagram, all of
kill you.
them.
Yeah, they all kill you. I want to know who's training people to do this,
Mhm.
because I'm like, you're getting trained horribly, because sure, you might get 1 out of 100, but out of that 100, you lost 50 plus that'll never talk to you or do business with you because of
Right.
how you came at them the first time.
Right.
So one, I'll never really co-sign that because I don't enjoy when that's done to me, and I'll never try to teach someone something that I can't stand.
Right.
Right? So we don't want that, and we don't want necessarily to be sold to. And this is one of the biggest mind shifts I had to make. I don't want to sell a product or a program. I want to change your life.
Hmm.
I want to give you a new vehicle, right? A new vessel to get you to your destination that you're really trying to get to. Because it's not the person. We're not broken, right? It's the vehicle or vessel you're trying to use to get there.
Right.
It might have went as far as it can go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I used to have this great, back in the day, I used to have this great Mustang, right? It was like it was a crap Mustang, but it was great for me. And I always knew there was a hill near where I lived that I could not do. Right? It was stick. I couldn't handle it. The car couldn't handle it. I would always have to go around it. Right? And it would add 10 minutes, but it was better than trying to go up the hill I knew we couldn't go up.
Right.
Right? So my thing is the vehicle couldn't get me to where I was trying to get to. I had to figure out either another way or another vehicle. And believe me, after like 6 months of that, I got another vehicle, right? Because I was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. Right? So the idea is, how can we know when I'm not trying to change you, I'm trying to change the vehicle you're using or vessel you're using to try to get to your destination. And then all I'm trying to do is help you get where you want. So one, I have to understand what you really want, how you really want to do it, what your mission is, and then say, oh my God, that's so awesome. Hey, I got these couple of things, and our value ladder, or value steps or value stairway, whatever you want to call it. Everybody thinks of cool new names to try to create something new, even though it's something old, right? We have absolutely free things. We have free groups people can be in. We have free books people can read. We have free guides. We have free handouts. We have free one-on-one calls, discovery calls. So like we have a bunch of free things people can get from us where they don't have to give us any money and get value. So if that's as easy as fixing your thing or getting you the vehicle that you need, cool. So with me, it's like, don't try to sell ever, because no one wants to be sold to. But show people how you can help them, how you can serve them, right? And then as soon as people feel that, they want more of it. So that's our approach.
That's great. I noticed that you're also on TikTok, which a lot of people, it seems like adults, poo-poo it because that's, for kids. So is there a secret to making it so that it still appeals to like a kind of adult subject, maybe time management or life purpose or, potential? How do you approach doing TikTok, or is TikTok, or is it best just to go, well, I'm doing this trendy dance. I'm just having fun with it. What's your approach?
Right. I think I'm going to say my approach for TikTok is like my approach for everything. And we have 5 categories that we hit. And it's the 5 pillars that are important to me, right? So family is one. So you're going to see my daughter on TikTok with me, right? Or the people that I consider family, the people I love, right? Like you're going to see them on there. And if you look at my TikToks, you're going to see numerous people in different TikToks, and they're all people I love and care about.
And your mom.
Dang right, of course, my mom, without a doubt.
Vinny.
Yeah, dang right, crazy. She's writing her first book right now, and it's hilarious seeing her write her first book. I can't wait for it to come out. She goes, it's called like Being Raised Mafia, I think. It's hilarious. But but yes, my mom will be in it. My mom's in everything I do, luckily. So we use these 5 pillars. I'll do family, right? I'll do personal development and personal growth because that's huge to me, right? That's how we change our lives, right? I'll do fun. I love having fun. Like I love laughing. Life will give us enough reasons to be serious. Let's enjoy it, right? Like I'll do thought provoking, right? And I'll do business. Right? I'll talk about business or marketing or strategy, right? And it's the same thing with the podcast I have. It's like every day you can listen to it and it sounds like it's a different podcast. I'm sure that annoys the hell out of people, but that is how I always stay in my five lanes.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
with TikTok, I do the 5 lanes. And why is because, this is one of the big reasons why. The people that know me as Coach Mike, they really like me as Coach Mike. But they might not know me as the funny guy or, right, like I don't even know if I'm funny or not, but the guy that loves to have fun or the family guy, right, or the guy that loves sports, right? Like they might not see that part of me, but they might want to. So now there's people that know you because of this one category, like the people that know you because of this podcast, because how you add value through this, but they don't know your family life, right? Like they don't know what else is important to you. So my 5 posts are always showing people what's important to me. Right? And so then you'll see me more as a person rather than a gimmick or a podcast or a product or, a business.
Okay. Interesting. That's a nice approach. And I think, any entrepreneur can take that approach of identifying those core areas that you want to talk about and speak about, and then just hit them. Like oftentimes in Instagram, you see, even just looking at their grid, that it's organized in a particular way, So
Yeah, right.
that's
100%.
cool. Now, switching gears, you're a college basketball coach, assistant college basketball. Now, tell us about that.
Oh, that's awesome. I was a head coach in high school, and I went up. Literally, I started at like the YMCA, worked all the way up to college assistant. I love being an assistant more than a head coach. I never have to talk to the parents much unless I want to. I never have to talk to administrators, the athletic director. I never have to talk to the press. All right,
So you must have
I'm like,
been quite a player too.
in my mind, I thought it was amazing. I literally thought I was going to go to the NBA, but I clearly didn't. But basketball. I always said first, it was unfair because I met my true love when I was 3 years old, and that was basketball. And basketball to me was a form of therapy most of my life. Literally, the day my brother died, I went and played basketball. All right, the day my father died, I went and played basketball. The day my boys died in high school, I went and played ball. All right, the day one of my best friends died in 2011, the day that changed my life, I went and played basketball. Right, like those things where I didn't know how to express pain. Right, so I either wanted people to feel it, or I had to go to where I could zen out. And basketball was one of those areas before I knew anything about it that I used for that. So it was even unknowingly, basketball was my therapy. I love the game. I love like there's some areas in life that are great equalizers. Right, and sports normally is one of them because it doesn't matter how much money you have, what part of town you live on. Right, like what your grades are, how much money your parents have, like it doesn't care.
Right.
It says here's a spot on earth. Go at it. Whoever's better right now is going to win this moment.
Right.
Period. Right, and I love that. Right, like I love the arena being where we just get to showcase who we are. So I loved working with kids that didn't know the possibilities they had, and through a simple game, teaching them life.
Right.
And that's why I love coaching, the connection and relationships with the players, and then being able to achieve things through a simple game that gave them belief in life and let them go do things they didn't maybe know possible or didn't believe were possible. That will forever be one of the greatest things I've ever done.
That's great. The bigger question is, are the Boston Celtics going to be able to come back against the Heat?
They should be up 3-0.
Right,
They should
you're right.
big leads in all of them. I think Hayward coming back was big, and a little depth there and veteran leadership. And on everything shows right now, the Celtics should win.
Yeah.
But the problem is heart can't be measured. And Miami has hella heart.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see that to me is the more interesting series, right. Even though I know everybody loves the Lakers. To me, that's the more interesting series because both those teams, very well coached, very well disciplined in how they play,
Yep.
and lots of heart.
Yep.
And I love that. So that to me is a more entertaining series than the Lakers series.
I have 11-year-old twin boys, and one of them is crazy about basketball. That's his whole life.
Oh, I love
His bedroom is just covered with Steph Curry, so he's kind
it.
of down
Nice.
about that. But
That's awesome. Oh, and that's great. Basketball to me is the greatest sport on earth. It just you have to play everything. You have to play defense, offense, special teams. There's no
Yep.
timeout. It's like that. You're on the court. You're playing, right? Like, and it's the ultimate team game because any one of you that does not do your job, you cost everyone.
Mm. And I always find myself following great coaches, actually, more than players. Bill Belichick. And actually now I'm following Tom Brady. I'm very curious to see if he can change the Buccaneers. And it's that approach to winning and like what he brings to the team. That's the part that's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. So I'm with you, especially in pro. I'm much more college. I'm program. I'm UNC. I'm a heel up guy for my life, right? Like, but for pro sports, I find myself really focusing on coaches and or veteran players that have proven things.
Yeah.
To see how they affect teams and how teams work with them. But the strategy, I love strategy. I'm a strategist, right? So I love strategy, right? And I love chess. I love thinking moves ahead. So coaching is like the ultimate chess game.
Right.
And the scary part is you're doing it with people that you really don't have any control over. Right? Like, because I can teach you everything, but like I remember one year, my first varsity high school coaching job, one of the first games, this kid comes down, he does a nice move, passes the ball out of bounds, right? Just throws it away. And the parent's like, good job, coach. I was like, you're right. At practice, I was like, yo, do that good move, then throw that ball out of bounds, man. It'll be appropriate, right? Like, clearly I didn't teach that, right? Like, so, but it was funny because you might have great strategy, but if execution isn't there, it's a wrap.
When I went to UMass Amherst, it was Coach Calipari, and they were in the finals against Rick Pitino's Kentucky.
Yeah, you're right. With Marcus Camby, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Marcus Camby.
Great team. That was
actually,
fun time.
yeah. Well, I've got a couple questions left here. This has been a great joy, Michael. What's a hobby you enjoy that most people may be surprised about?
Man, it matters from when you know me from, right? Like, I love reading and I love writing. Most people that knew me growing up would say I would do neither of those. But I absolutely love those. I love dissecting music. Absolutely.
What kind of music?
All kinds. I'm one of those weird cats. You can find me listening to jazz today, and then tonight listen to Nipsey Hussle. Right? Like two different ends of the spectrum, and then tomorrow morning I'll be listening to country. Right? Like I listen to me, it's the message in the music that I'm trying to find where the heart was in it. Like, what's the heartbeat? I think every song has a heartbeat. I want to find that. So those are some of the things that people probably don't know about me. I have a rough exterior, have a really long beard, talk a lot of noise. So I don't know, especially growing up, people would not think that about me.
Where can people go to find out more information about you and what you do?
I'm on every social media site, either Michael Fabber or the Coach Mike Fabber. My number and my actual email address that comes straight to me and my actual phone number that comes right to my hip are both published. They're both out there. They're public. Literally, when I say I'm there for you, I mean it. Anybody needs anything, I'm a call away, a text away, an email away.
And that's two B's with the Fabber, Fabber.
All right. My thing is, you're never really alone. It might feel like it, you might think it, but you're never really alone.
My final question, Michael, is what's one powerful action step that our listeners can take to help them live a more joyful, productive, and fulfilling life?
Man, that's a great question. That's super hard. That's a great question.
Quick, in 1 minute.
Right? Like you said, action. I love that. Take action. My thing is this: understand why your goal is your goal. What I mean by that is everybody has a goal, but really the feeling behind what you'll get when you complete the goal is what you're seeking. So the more ways you can get that feeling, that'll lead to more fulfillment. So how can you get that feeling daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, right? Like, how can you get that feeling 100 times? Because you getting that feeling you're seeking 100 times is a much greater you.
That's great. Well, Michael, it's really been a pleasure. I think people are going to really listen a bunch of times. There's so many little nuggets in there to take in.
Let's
So
hope,
thanks
man.
thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you, man. I was honored and floored when you asked. You're awesome what you do. I love how you care about people and give, man. So it's my pleasure being here. Hopefully I lived up to the hype, the standard.
Absolutely.
By your guest.
Absolutely. Thanks. Do you have any advice for me of what I'm trying to do more, the time management coaching?
One, this is smart because the many ways you can hit that, that ideal client, that area,
Yep.
right? The better. Two, really pinpoint who you're seeing, right? Like this is, so who has this time management issue, and then understanding the journey of the person, right?
Yeah.
The 3 Ps, pains, problems, and past, we're running away from those. And then the 3 Ds, the dreams, desires, and destinations, right? This is the journey of a person. And this journey fluctuates in all different areas. And it's understanding how to talk to them at each step of the way. So, because if you're talking about dreams and I'm in running from pain,
Yeah.
what you're saying is going right through me because that's not where I'm looking, right? Even though I am your ideal client. So it's understanding the feelings more, and then like the goals, feeling wise, internal and external, right? 3 things that I always want to dismiss, right? I want to crush, right? Because if I get these 3 things to go, the chance of them being open to me is much more. One, we talked about like the vessel.
Yep.
The vessel they're using is flawed, right? And that's a lot of times the truth. Interior, what is their interior fear and desire? External, what is their external problem? And what's their external solution?
Right. Okay.
But as long as you can do those 3 things consistently and be able to word it in ways where people, no matter what part of the journey they're at, can understand and feel, you'll do a great job. But definitely Facebook groups are huge. We literally, we built a business, our last business, we built 0 to 6 figures in 4 months just using Facebook groups and not selling.
So I should start more Facebook groups or just focus on my personal one?
I would get in other people's Facebook groups.
Okay, join Facebook. Yeah.
Right, for people that already have built audiences that your people are in.
Okay.
So like, are there time management Facebook groups?
Yep, productivity and all that. Yeah.
Right, and then people that like trying to overcome stress, right? Because a lot of times, what's stress? It's overwhelm. Overwhelm why? Because I can't get everything I want done.
Right. So be creative on how you bridge that connection.
Right. I would search all different types of groups, not necessarily people already that found the solution, but people that are admitting the problem.
Yep. Because I always find with productivity Facebook groups that I'm like, I want to, someone will say a question. I'm like, I've got the planner that would fix that. You should read my book, but I don't want to do that. So I have to take that step back and like you were saying, and build that connection and first and provide that value first.
Right. When they say something like that, ask like, what steps have you done?
Yeah.
Right. Like when they talk about their problem, what things have you done to try to overcome this?
Right.
You're starting dialogue with the person, and now you understand more about them because they're telling you things they have tried. Or if anything,
I don't think I'm listening carefully enough to know those gradations in their voyage, and that seems to where you're able to go, oh no, we're not here. We got to go back up to right here where they are.
Right. And normally for us, like what you just said is something we actually have. We call it the success path.
Yeah.
We actually have 5 steps on our success path, and we talk about like the exterior problem, interior problem, right? Like, and what's happening around you. Boom. Right. And then pain, always pain and desire. And then we have those 5 steps. So people know, like, you can be in any one of these 5 steps and work with us.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be at one, right? Like, all too often they hear a message and they're like, well, I'm not there, so I can't work with this person. Yep. No, you don't understand. We have the solution. No matter where you are in the journey, right? Like, no matter where you are climbing this mountain, we still have the solution.
Yeah.
So,
and I have found that even I've got a cousin who is a millennial or a little younger than millennial. And I was surprised because I sent her my book, and it was something it gave an example about this person identified all their hats. And one of them was a Christian and all these others. And she immediately said, well, I'm not a Christian. And she totally rejected the entire book because that one didn't fit with her So I think that's also a point that this new generation, if they don't see themselves in what you're talking about, they're out.
Damn right, 100%. And that's why, like, I know a lot of people talk about fine niching, but
Yep.
I think our niching is actually how we're getting too defined,
Yep.
and in areas that we don't need to. Like, people are like, what profession does your person do? Like, bro, people have my problem. The problem I solve, it's not a profession thing.
Right. It's more of how you reach that person, because
Right.
both what we teach can generalize to pretty much anyone.
Right. And so then it's understanding feelings and steps along the journey. And as
Right.
soon as you do that and identify where they are, you know how to speak their language and know how that you solve whatever issue they have. You get the
Great.
results.
Do you mind if I add a little bit of this content in there too? Because this was so great. And do you mind? I'm considering putting the YouTube channel, like the Zoom call. Do you think that's a smart idea? I know you do some of it.
I would, so you made this, I would do this a million ways. I would take this video and I would put it on YouTube, of course. I would then chop it up into like minute segments, like something like real provocative minutes, use them in my stories, right? And then in your Instagram story or Facebook story, and like new post alert or new show alert, right? I would strip the audio and make just a straight podcast out of it. So, and you can do so this one piece of content becomes a million pieces of content.
Right. Okay.
I would do that. We do this thing, we call it 3 days. It's like 72 hours straight where we make like 123-minute videos.
Wow.
And then that's 4 months worth of material we can use. And then we don't have to worry about if we have enough material or figuring out what to use or where to use it or how to use it.
Smart. You have a stockpile.
Right, exactly. And you do that because, I mean, you both know things come up every day. Like schedule, things change every day. So, well, I have to make this post, or I have to make 5 posts today, right? Like if I had to make 5 posts every day without anything base to go off of, things come up. I would never be able to do it. So it's really just being prepared to make that impact over and over and over and over.
In your YouTube video, you have that logo around the. How do you get that in there?
Oh, so I don't use Zoom. You use Zoom? I use StreamYard.
Okay.
StreamYard. StreamYard.
Okay.
First, there's a free part of StreamYard too, but StreamYard lets you customize this so much more. Like you can have a banner across the bottom. You can have a layout behind you. You can have logos in the picture. You can have there's a bunch of stuff you can do.
Okay. Great. This has really been helpful, Michael.
I hope so. I love to add value. I switched to StreamYard this year because it just gave me so much more personal touch. Yeah. And that can separate everybody's doing this now because it's the only thing we can do, right?
Right.
COVID was the great equalizer. Everybody came to the internet, right? So
right. Well, I'm thinking I could probably do this in even iMovie, and have that banner on the bottom and all that, and the logo and that sort of thing.
StreamYard, why I love StreamYard too is because you can actually go live in multiple locations. Okay. So when I do the show, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, right? Like we're live in our Facebook group, we're live on the YouTube page. So it's live in all those areas, and it has the chat accessible, and I like to be able to have interaction with people listening, even though sometimes they throw some stumper questions, but I still enjoy it.
Should I be doing live Facebooks and live Instagrams every day?
I don't know about every day, but you should do some. I mean, you can if you can manage every day, sure. The more you do it, you're building your audience, right? Like you're building you don't want satisfied customers or supporters. You want like ravishing supporters. Yeah.
So I should keep my business Facebook page, but focus more on the personal one.
I do personally. I can always share things from my personal page to my business page if I want to. Right. Right. Okay. And I can always do vice versa. I can share from business to personal. But if I have more people that are connected to me at a deeper level on my own page, they're probably going to come in. If it's a share, they might not.
So yeah, because I don't want the people that are really interested to get double posts all the time. If they sign up for all the hats we wear, Facebook, now they're getting it from me and that must be annoying too.
I mean, you know how many notifications people get in a day? Yeah. I mean, if you're giving them 2, I don't think that'll do it. Like,
yeah, right.
And here's the deal: like, if someone is so disgusted that they get 2 notifications when you go live, they're probably not your person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
they're probably not a huge supporter. If it really annoys them that they get 2 notifications from you, they probably aren't a huge fan.
Right. And they can turn it off.
Right, 100%.
Right.
And you can unfollow, and you can do a million things. So my thing is, I'm not speaking to everyone, I'm speaking to my people.
Yep. All right. And the great Richard K. Pope, he was a treat too.
Oh, Pope's a mess. I love him.
Yeah, great guy.
He's
He
hilarious.
said he was going to send me some of his hot sauce, but I haven't seen it yet. His Viking hot sauce.
Yeah, he said the same thing to me. I'm still waiting. I love hot sauce too. No, but Pope's story, like, and how he does it, how much he cares about his community in Salisbury, it's beautiful to see how it's coming to fruition from when I first talked to this guy, right? And I was trying to convince him to release his first book, to now he's like 8 books out, right? Mm-hmm. And just the growth, confidence, and just the dedication to his craft. Yeah, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, he's great. Amen. All right, Mike. Well, I know you want to get back to your Facebook and speaking to your tribe.
Thank you for the break.
All right. We'll see you, buddy.
It. Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
You're meant to do great things. If you want to be an innovator and visionary, you have to manage your busy life like one. The All the Hats We Wear planner is the planner for the future. I want to give you a free month of the planner to try out for yourself. Nothing will slip through the cracks anymore. When you use the All the Hats We Wear planner, you'll have everything you need at your fingertips. All of your goals, a vision statement, a list of daily habits, and a checklist to track your progress. Key information for the small and large projects on your plate. Daily sheets to clarify your top outcomes for each day. A week at a glance section to plan for the coming weeks, and much more. The All the Hats We Wear planner will be your roadmap to a more joyful, productive, and fulfilling life. To claim your free month so you can see for yourself how it will streamline your busy life, visit allthehatswewear.com.